All right, we've been going over summary statistics, or another way to put it is statistics that summarize the data that you have. And so here's our data set again. We've calculated the measures of central tendency, or what is the middle of that data. And so we've done that in three ways. We've done it with mean, mode, and median. Now we're going to calculate the measures of variation. All right, and so the first measure of variation is range. If we look at our formula sheet, range is listed right here. It's the maximum data value minus the minimum. And so I'm just going to write range right here. And it's the max minus the minimum. So the max value in our data set is 44. The minimum value is 3, which gives us a range of 41. All right. The last measure that we're going to learn about is standard deviation. And so this one will be new to you. Again, standard deviation is a measure of variation, or how different our numbers in our data set are. And it has a formula, and it can look a little bit intimidating. The formula we're going to use is for population standard deviation. And so you can find it on your formula sheet on the first page. The formula is population standard deviation is equal to the square root of the sum of the data set values minus the mean squared over the total number of values in the data set. And so what we are going to do is we're going to use this table over here to help us get the information we need to put in this formula. And so what we're going to do is, when we get to this bottom portion that says sum, that's going to be the top part of this formula. And so here under x, these are just our values, so I'm going to put those in. 3, 7, 12, 17, 21, 21, 23, 27, 32, 36, 44. This column is the data set, this value, subtracted from, and you subtract the mean from it. All right, and so in this case, I'm going to take 3 and subtract it from our mean value that we calculated up here, 22.09. And I get negative 19.09. All right, same thing in the next one, 7 minus the mean, which was 22.09, and I get negative 15.09. So I'll go ahead and let you calculate all those out, and then we will move on. The next thing that we need to do is we need to, if we look at our table here, we need to take the data value minus the mean and square it. And so we're going to take this number in the column, and we're just going to square those numbers, and we're going to put them in the column here. So the first one, 19.09 negative. I'm going to find a square button on my calculator and square it, and I get 364.4281. I'll do the next one too, 15.09 negative squared, and I get 227.7081, and so on. So you're going to take all these numbers right here and square them now. Okay, so after you have all those numbers squared, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to sum all of these numbers. And so again, if we look at a formula sheet, sigma means sum, and we're going to sum the data set minus the mean squared. And so that's what we're doing. We're adding up all of these numbers here, and we're going to get a total. So go ahead and add those up, and then write your sum total right here, and then we'll move back to the formula. Alright, so the next thing we'll do is we'll take that sum that we just added up and we'll place it into our formula over here. So now our formula is going to be the square root of, and again, we just calculated the top number with this table. And so it is 1518.9091. And we're going to divide that by n. N is the total number in the value set, and so we know from our mean there are 11 values. So we'll put that in there. And we will divide those two numbers. 1518.9091 divided by 11, and I get 138.0826455, and then I need to take the square root of that number. So I do that and I get 11.75. We'll round it to 11.75. And so our population standard deviation for this data set is 11.75. And you need to remember that standard deviation is a measure of variation, or how different the numbers are.